A reading from the Passion of our Lord Jesus Christ according to Luke.
Then the assembly arose as a body and brought Jesus before Pilate. They began to accuse him, saying,
"We found this man perverting our nation, forbidding us to pay taxes to the emperor, and saying that he himself is the Messiah, a king."
"Are you the king of the Jews?"
"You say so."
Then Pilate said to the chief priests and the crowds,
"I find no basis for an accusation against this man."
But they insisted and said,
"He rouses us people by teaching throughout all Judea, from Galilee, where he began, even to this place."
When Pilate heard this, he asked,
"Is this man a Galilean?"
And when he learned that Jesus was under Herod's jurisdiction, he sent him off to Herod, who was himself at Jerusalem at this time. When Herod saw Jesus, he was glad, for he had been wanting for a long time to see him, because he had heard about him and was hoping to see him perform some sign. He questioned Jesus at some length, but Jesus gave no answer. The chief priests and scribes stood by, vehemently accusing him. Even Herod with his soldier treated him with contempt and mocked him and sent him back to Pilate. That same day, Herod and Pilate became friends with each other. Before that day, they had been enemies. Pilate then called together the chief priests, the leaders, and the people, and said to them,
"You brought me this man as one who was perverting the people. And here I have examined him in your presence, and have not found this man guilty of any of your charges against him. Neither has Herod, for he sent him back to us. Indeed, he has done nothing to deserve death. I will therefore have him flogged and released."
At every Passover festival, Pilate had to set free one prisoner for them. But the chief priest, leaders, and people shouted,
"Away with this fellow! Release Barabbas for us!"
Barabbas was a man who'd been put in prison for a riot that had taken place and a murder. Pilate, wanting to release Jesus, addressed the people again, but they kept shouting,
"Crucify him! Crucify him!"
A third time he said to them,
"Why, what evil has he done? I have found in him no ground for the sentence of death."
But they kept on shouting at the top of their voices that Jesus should be crucified, and finally their shouting succeeded. So Pilate passed the sentence on Jesus that they were asking for. He set free the man they wanted, the one who'd been put in prison for riot and murder, and he handed Jesus over for them to do as they wished.